Sneako just wants to like make everyone dislike him. When you're like that out front and bold with, I'm a Muslim, I want America to become Muslim, yeah, people are not going to be too happy about that. And that's what happened over the weekend. He posted a video, him in New York, saying, New York, this is Muslim country. This is, we're planting our flag, which in the ideology of Islam, that's what it is. They conquer, they take over. And then Elon Musk, he jumped in on it because Alex Jones put out he said, deport him now. Elon Musk piled on and said yes. And then everyone has turned against Sneako. I've never been a fan of Sneako. I am a fan of Nick, but just to give you a little bit of a background of where we're at now, this is what Nick Fuentes is saying.
Sneako will say, well, you know, I'm Muslim and I care about the Middle East, and Nick is Christian. He cares about this. Here's the difference. You're in my country. That's the difference. That's what these foreign-born, that's what these brown clowns don't seem to understand. You're in our country, okay? The United States of America was founded by white Christians. You want to be some brown Muslim? Show a little respect. Show a little deference. But that's the problem. You don't respect this place. So you need to leave. We didn't come to the Philippines.
So Nick Fuentes, he is completely turned. For a while, because when they were kind of, the breakup was happening, it did seem like that it was kind of fake. It was just like, because you play on my stream, I play on yours. We're just having this dramatic scene. I did see a video of it looked like it was just sneaked out there. I don't know. I think Sneako sneaked it out there of behind the scenes. Probably Nick didn't even know he was being recorded, and they were just going at it back and forth. Just Nick's being rational, like, are you going to have my back? And Sneako's like, why would I have your back? We don't come from the same lines. We're not the same ethnicity, the same religion. Why would I have your back? And I don't know if this is just the difference. This is the difference between the mindset of, I think Christians bend over backwards to defend and support and fight for. Even if we disagree with some people, we want the best for them. We want to see the best in them. And I think that's where Nick was at most of the time. It did seem like, because the relationship never jived. I know, like, because if you come at it from a Christian perspective, we were all people. We can be redeemed by Jesus Christ. But from the Muslim perspective, they say that they acknowledge who Jesus is. They respect who he is. He's a prophet. They're just playing lip service. They're not seeing who he truly is. And I think from Nick's perspective, he wants to see the best in Sneako. He wants to see the best in everybody. But it never seemed like a relationship that was meant to last for me. But with Sneako putting that out there, he has shown his cards. There's nothing hidden anymore, because this is what Islam, what it is about. It's about conquering by the sword, taking over, expanding their empire, not through talking about what you believe in. Because you don't hear Sneako talking about necessarily getting into the details, the weeds of Islam, of like defending some of the beliefs, because I'm pretty thorough in what my understanding of what Islam what they believe. And it's not to say they're bad people, but it's a bad ideology. It's a terrible ideology, because when you really get into it, like if you become a Christian and you get more in depth, and more fanatic as a Christian, you're going to be loving people more. You're going to be wanting the best for people, putting others ahead of yourself, caring about others' interests. But Muslims, like, it's not to say they're bad, but like when you get into the depths of where their ideology leads, it is conquer, take over with the sword. It's either everybody is Muslim or they're paying the tax. They're occupied. They're taken over by Muslims. This is Islam territory. That's where he wants it to go, and that he's shown it all. And I worry a little bit about like where this is headed for him. It seems kind of dangerous, because he is a prominent. I mean, if Elon Musk is retweeting about you and talking about you, if Alex Jones is posting stuff about you, deport him now. This is a person we need to recognize, because he's gotten the airwaves. He's not just somebody off in the corner, doing something that could possibly be nefarious, but he's out front, outspoken. Because you think of Andrew Tate, he's a Muslim, but he really doesn't at all get into his ideology. He doesn't necessarily wear it on his sleeve like Sneako does. And it could be very dangerous where this is headed. If anybody's like reading the tea leaves and just seeing what Sneako's doing and what he's putting out there, what he's trying to push, the agenda he's pushing, he's being pretty based on his vision and his ideology. He's standing for it. You can give him respect for that, I guess. But it's like, that's the thing. It's like, you got to get these things straightened out. What you actually believe, is it correct? And Muslims, they deny Jesus Christ. They deny him. They can say we respect him. Like, that's the thing. They play lip service to all the things of, like, they respect the Old Testament, the New Testament. Those are holy books to them, but they won't necessarily touch them. That's why if you give them one, they're gonna respect it and not destroy it, because they consider it a holy work, but they just believe it's been corrupted. And they have all these things. And I do think, and when we get down to it, like, why Islam has come out this way, it is because probably Muhammad had relationships with Jews in his time and age, and probably the Jews misled him and tricked him and told him wrong stories, because you can see things that are just blatantly discrepant, and it's probably because the Jews tried to trick him. And then that's why Muhammad was so pissed off. And this is the battle that's been going on for ages, centuries, millennia at this point, between Muslims and Jews. And now we're involved as Christians. And I got to kind of distinguish myself definitely from Nick. I like him a lot. I really enjoy listening to him. But that's what he can be. It can be kind of dangerous even listening to Nick, because it's the younger individuals that just listen to him, but maybe aren't as critical of what he's saying, examining what he's saying. I like listening to him, but I'm able to discern and try to discern where he's going wrong on certain things. And this is the clash between Roman Catholicism and Islam. And in a way, it's like they're fighting each other now, but they are kind of married in a lot of ways. That's why it kind of gets very dicey and messy when you really get into this. And I think as Christians, people that take on the name of Christ, who stand for the name of Christ, you got to be able to discern the error from both sides. And it's not to say that Roman Catholics got everything wrong. They got a lot of things right. But it gets kind of scary, because a lot of times we are the real religion, but then they're also very extremely sympathetic to all religions, because they look so close to the truth that the counterfeit can almost be more misleading. And I think as Christians, because that's what it is. It's like a lot of things with Mormonism, with all these things that diverge from the Bible, from the writings, the scriptures. When you start adding all these things, it can mess up your ideology. It can take you off in a wrong road that you shouldn't go down. And I've definitely battled with this, with a lot of things, with analyzing the different parts of Christianity and why certain ones go, like, I would say Romanism and Roman Catholicism and Mormonism, they're not on the same level. Definitely Roman Catholicism is, I would say, represents there are true Christians in there. It's a viable church. But where they get it wrong is they add so many things to it, and it can seem like when you're entrenched in it, it's like they are the true. If you're rejecting them, if you're turning away from them, you're not accepting them, then you're not a part of the church. And that's where it kind of it's taking things upon themselves. And I know I'm going in different directions with this, because I do see that fine line between. It's almost like Sneako and Nick represent two roads that Christians almost have to finally go between. Like they have to we have to kind of narrowly go through this path, because both directions are, in a sense, they can mislead you. Definitely Islam, much more in a dangerous degree. But with these guys, Sneako and Nick, I have my viewpoint that it's different than both of them. But that's why I can look at Nick and I enjoy listening to him. I can glean the things that he talks about that are right, but just this falling out that's happened between them it was like inevitable. But in the end, I do see it as Roman Catholicism is going to merge somehow with Islam. Because they're so sympathetic with one another. they agree on a lot of things that just normal, regular Christians don't necessarily hold to. So, but let me know what you think. I think I recognize that this would happen. It seemed like a front, their relationship, their friendship, and it was kind of a farce in a lot of ways. They played into it. It was just your stream against my stream. I'm doing my thing over here. We're just eating off each other and all that. But Nick does seem much more real and a real person than a Sneako to me. Sneako just seems like he's putting on a show. I don't even necessarily know. He's saying what he thinks he should believe, but not necessarily what he actually believes. I don't even know if he knows what he actually believes. Nick just believes what he really believes it, but I just think Nick is off on a lot of the things that he stands for in certain instances. All right, we'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a good day.